3, 2, 1. Hello, true believers. Ash on Comics here with another comic book review. Well, I say another, it's been a long time. So if you're joining me from the past, welcome back. Thank you for not completely unsubscribing or forgetting about me. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you. That was my rather poor attempt at doing an homage to my boy Englentine over at I Love Comics, or has he changed his name again to Englentine Loves Comics? I don't know, but chances are you probably know who he is if you know my channel. This is Batman, also featuring Catwoman. Yay! Batman 125. It is the beginning of a new era. Well, it actually says a new era begins, but I think a beginning of a new era would be a better tagline to put on there. Great, beautiful cover. Bravo to Jorge Jimenez, one of my favorite artists, one of the best artists working in the business today. I don't think he is the best. Stylistically, I am not as big of a fan for him on Batman as I have been on other projects. Absolutely adored him on Super Sons, which is where I discovered him. Also really loved him when he was doing Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League, when Jorge Jimenez was drawing it, was chef's kiss. So I'm going to try to do a review. I haven't done one of these in a long time. I've been on kind of a hiatus. So this is on off the cuff. I do not script my reviews. As such, they come across very amateur, unlike some of the better YouTubers that you probably watch that are not named your boy Zach. That guy is able to ramble on conversationally, ad hoc, in a brilliant way. He deserves all the subs that he gets, whether you love or hate his viewpoints. He does actually have talent. So Batman is a comic that most people love. It's DC's bread and butter. I'm a big fan of Batman. He's not my favorite hero at DC. All that once upon a time, I would have probably definitely picked him. But as I have become more of a DC fan and explored their other heroes, I have discovered that there's a lot of value in DC heroes. I would say that Superman is probably my favorite hero. And I became a real big fan of Hawkman during the Venditti run and discovered that character is way more than I ever thought he was. And I would love to read more great Hawkman stories because there's so much awesomeness to be had there. But unfortunately, he's kind of like an oasis in the desert. So, or that the character, it just, you barely ever see Hawkman runs. They're all usually pretty good from what I understand. I haven't read them all, but anyways, I'm in the weeds already. I haven't even barely started. So I quit reading or subbing to Batman during the Tynion run when the Joker War was happening. And it wasn't because I hated Tynion's run. In fact, I rather enjoyed Tynion's run. I was just sick of what DC was doing. It really had to do more with the Future State. And when they announced that they were canceling Future State, when they were canceling ongoing DC titles in, when was it? Was it January 2021, I want to say? Basically, December 2020 was the last of the ongoing titles, and they were taking a hiatus, and that's when the Future State titles came in. And they announced that, it was like October of 2020. I was like, oh, the writing was on the wall. I was like, nope, this Future State is just 5G wrapped in a new skin. We're being sold the same thing under a different name, and they think we're a bunch of idiots. And I was just pissed. And I was like, I don't want anything to do with this Future State nonsense. 5G, which it was just 5G. And people argue with me and said, Ash, it's just 2 months, don't be over dramatic, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting here tapping my watch that I don't actually have on my wrist, but, I'm doing that motion. And it's like, here we are halfway through 2022 and future state is still going on. People say, well, not really, Ash. Don't really, because I look over there and there's I Am Batman still going. So anyways, some people like future state. More power to you. I'm not going to tell you what to like or what to not like, even though I'm doing a YouTube channel about comics, which is telling you what to like and what to not like. Actually, I'm just telling you what I like. If you disagree with me, you're free to disagree with me. It's your money. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's your money. I'm here to give you my perspective. And one thing I just hope that you take away, no matter what, whether you think I'm just off my rocker, or I just have bad taste or whatever, I just hope that you take away that I'm honest with you. I am never going to crap on a book because it doesn't fit my agenda. I am never going to shill a book. I don't make any money off these. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes. Like a half an hour video from me is like 90 minutes of actual work, even though I'm not even doing scripting and stuff. So those guys that do the scripting and the really good production, editing, and all that stuff, they really deserve your likes and perhaps, support them, Ko-Fis, whatever. Don't Patreon. Patreon sucks. Don't ever use Patreon. But anyways, still in the weeds. Eric's like looking at me. Look, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give you an honest perspective. It's genuine. That's what I look for when I listen to other reviewers or other YouTubers and stuff. I just want an honest. I don't care if I disagree with you. I actually respect. I disagree with your boy Zach a lot. He's got like terrible taste. But one of the reasons I love his videos, and he's kind of inspired me to do my videos, was I always felt that he was genuine. He was always trying to just give his opinion, even if it was a silly one. So I would rather listen to that than someone just preach to me, my likes. I don't want someone to preach to the choir. I don't need an echo chamber. So on with the Batman review. Of course, you can never skip the DC stupidity. And by the way, there's going to be salt in my reviews. I tend to be a very salty person, especially when I'm being critical about things. And I find that mockery is what we should be doing with stupidity. And look, the Black Adam movie, I hope the Black Adam movie is good. I want things to be a success. I do. I don't want them to stupid things to succeed. That's really terrible because then we just get more stupid things. What I want is merit. What I want is like Top Gun 2, right? That was a stellar achievement to bring back that magic that from 1986, all these years later, where culture has completely changed and do everything. That was a phenomenal feat to keep true to the original, but also be fresh for the modern society and just work and be 99% agenda free. There was some little bit of agenda parts in there, but I'm not. Anyways, that's where am I? I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Black Adam. I want it to succeed. I would love for it to blow me away and just walk away. And I go, wow, Black Adam's my new favorite character. But this is not the movie. This is DC trying to cash in with stupid stuff like each issue arrives with a photo variant cover featuring the stars of the film. Yeah. Have those ever worked? Remember when Marvel did that? When in the MCU, they'd have the photos of like Carol Danvers just standing there stupid in her costume, just like a photo shoot, like totally no action, no energy, just yay, that's Brie Larson in a costume that's not even a good, like, is that what people want? I'm a comic fan. I like comic movies because I kind of like seeing the comic brought to the big screen and what it would look like imagined with real life, actors and, photorealistic. Like, I enjoy that. But I enjoy comics because I love comics. I would much rather have artwork like you see here, right? Now, this artwork, of course, is, I don't know if it was traced, but it was definitely copied off of photo stills to have the likenesses. But at least it's art. This Hawkman actually looks pretty cool, despite the racist race swapping that's to support Hollywood agenda. But it's cool. But what I don't like, look at this, Black Adam, the Justice Society Files. That's the name of the comic that is coming out. Black Adam, the Justice Society Files. Hawkman #1. That's in July. Then in October, we're going to get Black Adam Justice Society Files number 2. No, not another number 1. Dr. Fate number 1. And then we're going to get Black Adam Justice Society Files number 3. No, not number 3. Cyclone number 1. And then we're going to get Atom Smasher number 1. This is something that Marvel has been doing to exploit fans with their garbage. When you see this, just know that this is done because they know the reason you're buying it is for the number 1, not the content inside. This is the same shitty marketing that companies like Taco Bell do, or Pizza Hut, or any of the shitty companies that they know that their quality of their product isn't good, so they have to lure you in with gimmicks. Pizza Hut has a new pizza every couple weeks. Taco Bell's got some new stuffed crunch, double cheesy gordita, whatever. Every time. That's because if they didn't, people would get bored for the most part. I mean, there's still people that are Taco Bell fans, pizza, but you know, get what I'm saying. That's the same thing here. Comics didn't need to used to do this because they relied on quality, cool storylines, events, and fans were enthusiastic, and they just couldn't wait for the next issue anyway. That's no longer the case. And I'm really sad to see Kari Andrews, who's one of my favorite creators, wasted doing covers. Although I am excited to see what the covers look like. Okay, back into the book. And Dog, you took... Seriously, I gave her a Kong bone so that she would be occupied during this video. And apparently she finished. I was in the weeds so long, she was able to get through that. And now she's just sitting here drinking like a freaking, I don't know, another time. So we start off, the comic opens up well. We see Alfred, who we dearly miss. Thank you, Chip Zdarsky, for reminding us how much we miss Alfred. Rest in peace. Stupidity of DC Comics. The dumbest death of a character that I can recall. So pointless and meaningless. They didn't even get like a cool outcome. Like, remember when they killed Superman back in the 90s? It was kind of dumb too, if you think about it. They just made a gigantic Super Hulk to punch Superman to death, and then they both punched each other to death, and in the end, they're both dead. In hindsight, it's kind of dumb, but it had tons of enthusiasm. It was a massive event. Then they did the 4 Supermen afterwards, and, you know, at least you got something out of it. It's, to this day, people still remember. No one remembers the death of Alfred, except maybe if they were super pissed in the infamy. Like, they just been swept under the rug. There was like no fanfare. It was just silly. They really just, I don't know. And you know what the point was to do? This is really key. I'm not in the weeds, trust me. The point here to kill Alfred was seemingly, I mean, no one's ever really admitted it, but it seemed pretty obvious. The point was because they were putting Batman and Catwoman together, right? And so Catwoman was filling the Alfred's void as sort of the Bruce's emotional crutch or what have you. Like, that's his partner. And I get Alfred's more of a father figure, but you see what I'm saying? But that's all disintegrated. Catwoman and Bruce aren't together, except in the Tom King Batman book, which came out a week ago. They got married, but don't ignore that. There's no continuity. There's no continuity, and yet everything is continuity. Who knows? By the way, I want to also say one thing. When Tom King left Batman 85, we all cheered. Well, those of us with taste cheered. When that happened, we kind of did the little fan casting. Who should replace him? You know, like, who would it be? And I want to say, back then, my choice, number one, and people laughed at me. It's funny. People were like, whatever, Ash. I said Chip Zdarsky should be the new Batman writer. People mocked me. And the reason why is because Daredevil was firing on all cylinders, and it was a really great crime drama that got into some of the personal dynamics. Chip Zdarsky introduced one of the best new side characters, whose name is actually escaping me at the moment because I haven't read Daredevil in many months. And I feel really bad just calling him the Black Detective, but his name is just escaping me, and I just want to describe his physical characteristics because you know who I'm talking about. But he was a great character. Absolutely loved that character. And what I love is I didn't love him at first. The character got to grow on me. He got to have, characteristics and personality, things that challenged my thinking. He got to be challenged in his own thinking. Stellar writing, in my opinion, at Daredevil. So I wanted to see him bring that seedy crime kind of style and great character development to Batman, who, in my opinion, has desperately needed that. Okay, so back here we are. We got Alfred, and it's beautiful. Look at this beautiful art. Like, look at the attention to detail of the Batcave. There's this beeping going on. Alfred goes over to it, and boom, we cut to a scene of the three Jokers. Wake up, Batman. Wake up, Bruce. Okay, I just did a really terrible Joker thing. And I got to tell you, a little bit of critique here. I did not understand the flow of the story here at all. They are not related scenes. This scene does not. I thought flew to this scene like, oh, he goes over, opens up, and then there's Jokers. That's a natural way to interpret, right? And then we cut to the next page, and Bruce is waking up. I never dream unless I want to. I use my subconscious to piece together a mystery. And then he picks up his cell phone and calls Selena. And, yeah. So, remember I talked about Catwoman replacing Alfred, in a sort of, in a writing sense, like for a role, like you need supporting characters to have certain roles that they fill. That's how Selena was going to fill. Like, but no, they're not together. Not only are they not together, but Bruce is... Why is Bruce emasculated? Why? Okay, this is not terrible, right? This is like normal man behavior, right? But Bruce is not a normal man. He's the alpha male of the DC comics. Like the world. He is the alpha of alphas. So it's frustrating to see Bruce. Oh, I just had a nightmare. I gotta call Selena. Oh, hey, Bruce, what's going on? I'm fine. I'm just thinking about you, wondering if everything's all right. I'm good, keeping busy. You know me. Cut to the next page. I'm sure you're the same. Back out in Gotham, forever. A fire to put out. I heard the uber rich are being hunted. Hope you're watching your back. Don't tell me you're ordering takeout. Just when I made coffee. Valmont, I'm on the phone. Bruce, I need to... It's okay. I've gotta go. Ooh, Bruce interrupted Selena with her latest boy toy. This is so pathetic and frustrating. Like, this is already right off the bat, I'm like, Zdarsky, look, I love you. You are talented. You have written some of the best comics I've read in the mainstream. Your Spider-Man life story was literally probably the best Marvel comic to come out in 20 years. There are some greats. People go, well, what about Brubaker, Captain America? There are some, but Spider-Man life story, better. It's that good. His stuff on Daredevil, it's not Frank Miller's Daredevil. Okay, fine. But is there another Daredevil run that's second place that's still above Zdarsky's? I don't know. I'm like, this just doesn't seem to understand the character. Now, is Zdarsky here just trying to stay in the continuity? Because that's also a responsibility of a writer, right? Sometimes you got to come in and go, this isn't how I would do it, but I need to stay true to what's been going on. I can't just do a complete 180 out of nowhere. That doesn't make sense. Like because not every comic fan is like me, who's anal retentive, and they just buy Batman because Batman's on the title, and they know how the story is going. They're not sitting there paying attention to what writer. Like, they just follow the stories. So there is, you sometimes if you're going to steer the ship, you got to do it slowly, like the Titanic, right? At the same time, if you steer it too slowly, you hit the iceberg. So I'm pretty proud of that metaphor. I just made it up on top of my head. See, sometimes I'm like Biden, and then sometimes I take my Adderall, and I'm good to go. So we cut over, and this is another weird, jarring cut where we see Batman. The city needs me to go to work. He's looking out in the daylight, which it's weird. Like Batman doesn't work in the day. I thought like that's, and then we cut, and it's nighttime. What? Weird. But I do love this page. Take a look to soak in the paneling. Like, forget about the writing for a second, as far as like the actual dialogue, but the story writing, the way the scene is very cinematic. And this is a credit, of course, to the artist, the coloring, everything's firing on all cylinders. I love the way the lights are shining up to the building. The lighting of the cop cars is just, and then that shot of Batman swinging in, and we got criminals like looking out, like get out, I'll kill him, blah blah blah, and then the lights go out, clink, God, and then cut over next, not God, not even close. And if you're a Batman fan, especially a grim, dark Batman fan like I am, more the Frank Miller style, not the silly 70s Batman, or even sillier 60s Batman, this is cool. I'm like, yes. And then, we get to see panicking criminal, and this is what I like to see. I like to see Batman stories where it's a little bit more grounded, where he is the Dark Knight, the creature of the night, he puts the terror in villains. We don't get to see that so much these days because it's so big and grand, and it's fighting massive supervillains. And this is the guy who keeps Gotham safe, and it just gets to show off Jorge Jimenez's art, which again, it's still beautiful. It's just he would be even better on another book, but that's neither here nor there. I'm for a Batman fan, you can't ask for more in the art department, really. I mean, there's very few artists that are still doing ongoing books that can compete with Jorge Jimenez. If anyone goes, well, what about David Fincher? Like, he's not doing ongoing books. Anyone who would be in this level is not doing ongoing books. There might be someone I'm not thinking of, but still, I mean, if you're top 3, that's great. I mean, that's what DC should be doing, putting their all-star players on their top book. And bravo to them for doing that. So Batman finds out that the people are killed, and he gets kind of pissed and emotional, throws the dude out, the window, like to let him hang, and the cops are like, oh no, we're gonna have to get a ladder, but Batman comes out the window below and crash, grabs the guy, and we get the nice, screaming Batman, and I can't help but read this in the Christian Bale voice. Who sent you? Now, this comic is a up and down. It is highs and lows. There's great parts about the art and the writing, and there's this like, oh, cool, Batman is like how we want, da-da-da, and then there's like weird decisions. Now, I already covered the first weird decision with the Selena Kyle thing. I'm like, oh, why are you throwing this in the fans' face? You get to see her. She's obviously in lingerie, in the bed. She was just banging that guy, or just about to get banging that guy, and I know, comic dweebs that are not getting enough lovin's at home are probably like, and it's getting their mind running, but that's not why I buy Batman. I don't, there's plenty of material if you just need to get your rocks off. I want to see this is supposed to be the love of Batman's life, right? And I argue, I don't think they should ever get married. I just don't think the comic should ever reach that state. I think because that will ruin things. But that love is what love is, and like Batman is drawn to Catwoman, and vice versa. Catwoman is kind of like, she's the woman who's like, no man is good enough for her until she met Batman. Why? Because Batman is the alpha of alphas. She would not be with this, I forgot his name, I just want to call him Trevor or something. And I'm sorry, it's not a knock on Wonder Woman fans, but let's face it, Trevor. Anyways, so we cut over to Penguin, and as soon as I was reading this, I was like, oh, hey, Jimmy will be excited. He loves Penguin. Penguin's like his favorite Batman. He's always telling me Penguin's his favorite Batman villain. And I was like, I haven't seen Penguin in a hot minute. They're always using Joker like in every Batman story since they did the Batman Who Laughs, and it was just more. Anyways, every once in a while they take a breather and they throw Two-Face in, but then it's just really been getting monotonous. So I'm like, hey, Penguin, that's a nice change of pace. Cool. What are you going to do with that? And we see it's Penguin, and it's, listen to this dialogue. I've never been like them, the elites, the wealthy born with silver spoons firmly in their mouths. They sit above us, profiting off us, indifferent to us, destroying the world, never knowing a hard day's work in their lives. But I'm like you. I earned what I have, scraped and crawled and hacked and slashed for my piece of the pie. I'm the American dream. I'm going to kill anyone in Gotham who has inherited over $5 million, unless they give that money away to the people of this city. If you die and your family inherits your money, I'll kill the family. My name is Oswald Cobblepot, and I will melt the silver spoons while they rest in your mouths. And it's like, ooh, that's like all scary and stuff. But I'm like, this is not the Penguin that I remember. And it immediately pulled me out because of the obvious thing here. The obvious leftist agenda of hating the rich. That, look, and I know people who've read this issue are going to go, but Ash, hold on. I understand, I'm going to get there. At the point I'm reading it, I hadn't got to see the rest of the book yet. So immediately I'm like, record scratch, and it sucks because I can't help but see it because it's been done so many times. And so before you say, Ash, that's not exactly what's happening here. But the problem is it happens so much, it's so cliche that I can't help but be drawn out of this. And the writer and the editors at DC should be firmly aware of that and say, well, people are going to, their mind is going to be drawn to this. Even though that's not your intention, like the story's not actually doing that, that's what's going to happen. And so at this point in the story, I was like, stupid. I was pulled out. So we cut over to Batman, and he's reading, and, he's like starts laughing. Ludicrous. The Penguin was born into wealth. He's twisting the truth, trying to get Gotham on us. And so I was like a little bit of like, okay, maybe there's more. And then we get Tim the Gay Robin in the scene. And I'm sorry if that triggers you. Tim is forever going to be known as that. He is now Tim the Gay Robin forever because they decided that would be what defines him. Even though he's never been gay, going back, Tim was the Robin. When I got into comics, they foisted homosexuality on him to, again, what was I talking about, agenda? Now, fortunately, this comic doesn't ever go into that. It doesn't throw it in my face, so I'm fine. But he's Tim the Gay Robin. But what I'm more bothered with than that is the fact that Tim is a man. Bruce even calls him a man in this very comic. It's really weird to me to have Bruce running around with a full-grown man in a Robin costume. Tim, go get your own stupid identity. Go and take a lesson from Dick. That was pun intended. But take a lesson from Nightwing and be your own man. Time to grow up. Bruce, where the fuck is your son? Sorry for the cursing, but you have a 14-year-old son running around and he's out playing Fight Club Death Gladiator games on... what are you doing? I'm not going to go into the weeds about how Damian's my favorite Robin and have everyone laugh at me and say, you're an idiot, Ash, but I have good reasons of why this is. And particularly it has to do with the relationship that Tomasi created between Damian and Bruce. And I know Damian's an F-up, but it really made for a good dynamic of Bruce having a boy wonder at his side and for Bruce trying to be a good father, not running around with a grown gay man in tights. Moving on. Bruce is talking to Tim. You can read the book. I'm not going to go on the whole story here. We get some cool scenes. Bruce has got to decide he's going to go to a party. And there's a cool little plan. And as far as like Batman and Robin action goes, it is pretty cool. I like how Zdarsky paces the action. We get some really cool shots from our boy Jorge. Look at this great angle shot of Tim descending down the stairwell and the POV of the camera, really interesting angles. Definitely never any flat feeling. It helps sell the story in a very cinematic way. He's placed a bat utility belt. The whole thing, Bruce is going to the party undercover, and Tim is in shadows taking out like the guards and doing different things, and Bruce is going to take out the Penguin. And it's a really cool little thing. It's like it's kind of a James Bondish kind of operation, and I'm like, yeah, cool, like Mission Impossible type of thing. And Penguin shows up, and he's gonna I'm gonna kill you all because you're all rich. He's gonna gas everyone, but unbeknownst to him, Batman is there, and man, look at just Batman. Even in a freaking shirt and slacks, Batman looks cool when he's drawn by a cool artist. Like, just look at that guy. And he starts whooping ass on the thugs. And Robin joins the fray, and we find out, oh, it's not actually Penguin. It's Clayface, and makes all of a sudden, like twist, reveal. Great writing techniques to throw in unexpected reveals like that. What's really going on? Batman didn't see this coming. And so they decide, like, oh, you foiled the gas plot to poison everyone. Well, we're going to just wreck the building because Clayface is a big wrecking ball. So Tim is going to try to get people out through the doors. And Batman does this cool thing that I just love. This is probably my favorite thing of the book, where Batman says, as for you, I've been hoping to run into you again, Clayface. The last time we met, I injected you with the formula that I'd been working on to turn your clay into something more explosive. You couldn't have. Now just look at these two panels. No real action going on. Although I look at the detail behind Batman. There is like particles or debris like falling and stuff. So you just feel, even though it's a close-up, it's a headshot, there's stuff going on. The intensity never lets down. And this shot, I was like, whoa, time out. Wait, Batman, you're going to kill someone? Like, what kind of Batman am I reading here? And then immediately I was like, no, I'm reading a good writer. This is he may do some slip-ups like with Selina and things like that, but this would be too drastic of a slip-up. Like, this is something, and I'm like, this is the bluff play, isn't it? This is Batman doing the poker hand, like, call my bluff type of thing. He's not going to kill Clayface, but Clayface doesn't know that. And more importantly, what I loved is that Chip never had to tell me. He never has to treat me like I'm an idiot and go have a little inner monologue of Batman saying, I'm not really going to kill him, it's all a lie. But he doesn't know. He does none of that. He doesn't have to do that. I love it. Don't treat your audience like they're stupid. And Batman just responds, try me. Save these people and tell me where the Penguin is, or I'll blow you sky high. And just look at the intensity in those eyes. And Jorge sells it. Look at that. He sells it. And then Tim's trying to blow up the door. He's running into a problem. He's like, stand back. And they're like, get us out of here. But he's putting explosives on the door. So if everyone rushes to the door, they're going to get blown up. So he's in a problem. And he's trying to stay back. And then he's distracted. And someone shoots Tim in the throat. And I just about applauded. Because if you know me, I hate legacy characters. Especially multiple redundant legacy characters. Now look, I don't actually hate Tim, okay? But DC needs to cull their universe. They are just overflowing. It is literally a clown car. It is, and they're just making more and more characters. Like, how many Wonder Women are we at now? How many Flashes do we have? You can't even count the number of Green Lanterns there are. And the problem is, once you make these characters, there's always going to be someone's favorite. There's someone right now who's Tim is their favorite Robin and thinks I'm just an asshole for even saying what I said. And it just face the facts. We don't need 5 Robins. We don't. I don't care how much you love them. We need to pick one, and that's it. And Damian has been that, although DC's ruining it, like they like to ruin everything. So I was like, yes. This could be a huge catalyst for a story of Batman losing a Robin. Because let's face it, he didn't actually lose Jason. Because they did the magic of resurrection that they do for But I'm going to spoiler alert, he's not dead. He doesn't die. But it is dramatic, and Batman's like, no! And he tells Two-Face that he better keep everyone alive. He's done, so Two-Face is like, all right. Not Two-Face, I'm sorry, Clayface. All right. And it's really cool. Like, Batman, who I'm pretty sure is bluffing, and that's another reason why also he didn't just treat the artist or the audience like they're stupid, but he also kind of has me guessing, is he bluffing? Oh, he's got to be bluffing. Like, that's what sells it. Like, Two-Face, of course, or Clayface has to be, anyways. So, look at this little details in a shot like this. Batman bending over Robin, but look at the foreground. There's people running. It sells. Look at the background. Those are little details that a good artist thinks about to sell the chaos and the action, even in a moment of stillness. And Batman's like, hold on, son. Get everyone out. And I love how Robin, even though he's dying, he's bleeding from the throat, is concerned about the other people. Like, he's a true hero here. He's not concerned about himself, which is the way heroes should always be written, if you're actually a hero. Batman's like, nobody dies today. And he flees out, and there's paparazzi. Batman, what happened here? Car. The car shows up, and he zooms away, and it's just real quick. No fuss, no wasting time, no decompressed storytelling here. You know, Tim's dying. Oh, where are we going? And Batman's got to take him to the hospital. And where, again, Tim selflessly is not thinking about himself. He's thinking about Batman. He's like, can't do that. They'll know who I am, who you are. Need to get me out of costume. You'll lose everything. Look at the face on Batman. Bravo for capturing the emotion. Like, Batman is torn. He loves this kid. Like, you know, he's like a father. Like, but he also realizes the importance of his mission, and like how he's like, once before, I had to do this once before, and we get flashbacks to Jason Todd, and really cool, you know, we get a dichotomy here. We get the flashback, a different time, a different soldier, and then we cut over to the present day. He's peeling off the mask when Jason died, and I removed the costume, and it's like a flashback. So modern readers maybe didn't read the Jason Todd stories because that happened like way long ago in the 80s. You know, a lot of them kind of know because it's been rehashed or whatever, but so we get that Batman throwing him in some street clothes, and then we can see Bruce Wayne basically bringing in a gunshot victim, and so therefore it protects his identity, but he still gets hospital. It's a quick way of dealing with the situation, but also kind of telling the story of the drama. And we get at the hospital, we get a nurse. And remember I told you this book is ups and downs, so the nurse is coming out, Batman's hiding in the shadows because this is where the real Penguin is. You've made a lot of bad decisions over the years, but this one was the worst. It took you long enough. Clayface gave you up. And how's the brat? Now, we get a little bit of parlay. Not really parlay, I guess. That's the wrong word. But basically some banter between Batman and Penguin. Who, I don't really like this Batman Returns version of the Penguin, but what are you going to do? And Penguin's basically Penguin is not exactly like what we saw, but he is kind of exactly like we saw. He is I hate the rich, but not because he hates actually rich. He hates the rich because they excluded him. He's like, well, I was rich too, and they didn't let me into their parties. So it's the same bullshit, selfish ideology of envy that the left has, just kind of painted from a different angle. He accuses Batman of being a billionaire. He's like, I'm no billionaire, and what have you. Anyways, there's a bunch of banter going on, but I just did not like this Penguin. And he's just a pathetic buffoon. He hates Batman. He hates everyone because they're rich and he's not welcome in their elitism. He hates these people for being the elite that he wants to be. He's like the utter hypocrite, which I guess is what villains should be. Like, they should be despicable, but it's just, I don't know. I can't help but bring in the modern world to this because modern comics has done that for so long. I know this video is getting very long, so if you made it this long, hopefully I've been somewhat entertaining. Thank you very much. Leave in the comments, by the way, if you did make it this long. That would be really cool. Let me know that someone's paying attention. So we find out, though, that Penguin had a master plan. And this is what kind of drove me nuts as well. And maybe I'm really curious what Jimmy's thoughts are. Jimmy, if you're watching this video. The Penguin outsmarts Batman. So Penguin knew, he lures Batman here, gets the cops coming, right? He tells them that, he's like, you hear those sirens? All your allies, your enemies, the Gotham police. You're the last on my list, Batman. Unlike the rest, I could never kill you. But I can end you. I can. And then Batman's like, no, I walked right into it. Was it cyanide? Get it out of him. And then, look at this total cliche scene. You called? Is there a... Oh no, it's Batman! And he's killing the Penguin! If you can't see me, but I'm doing the rub my temples and squinting my eyes. Oh no! Let's stop for a moment and think about how many hundreds of times Batman has saved the city of Gotham. Let's think about at least, we'll just be super generous and say dozens of times Batman has saved the entire world. The multiple times he's saved the entire universe. Batman is one of the great iconic heroes. In this world, Batman would be like... He would be like a messiah, in a way. Like people, like the... And because Batman is the ultimate alpha, he would not run. He would be like, quick, this man just ingested cyanide. Get a doctor. I will keep doing CPR or whatever. You know, like, he wouldn't just be like, oh my God, someone sees me, I gotta run. Blah. And so he leaves the police. And then, of course, the police, right? The police. How many times has Batman worked? Like, they know. They know. And furthermore, Gotham is full of corrupt police who cover for themselves killing people. Why would they just be like, oh no, Batman killed someone? So this completely pulled me out of the story. I was like, oh, fuck, Batman's on the... Didn't we just literally have this? Didn't we just literally have this? Batman losing his fortune? Like, just... yeah, this was me. Read this right here. This was me reading the book. Well, this part of the book. There was a lot of cool things in this book. Even this sequence of panels here is really cool. The Batmobile looks great. I'm not sure why Bruce worries about custom rims on his Batmobile, but what have you. And then we cut. I like this bookends. When you bookend your story, it's really good technique. The Batcave now. Beep, beep, beep. Remember we saw that before, except Alfred was checking it out. Beep, beep, beep. Complete. Activate. So this time we know, Alfred wasn't actually opening some interdimensional door to the three Jokers. He was opening something we didn't get to see, and it just was a weird cut. And this is what he saw. Online, failsafe, online. So, first appearance, apparently a failsafe here. The next book will be the first full appearance of failsafe. It's never for sure which one they actually collectors consider. We don't know if this character will actually be a big star, but speculators are for sure probably going to want these books because, hey, you never know. It's kind of cool looking character. When Jorge Jimenez is drawing it, when you put a B-list artist, can he draw the character looking cool? I don't know. But that's it. Now, you paid $4 or $5.99 for this comic book, and you got like 20 pages. And people go, well, Ash, this is a double-sized issue. That's because the other half of the book is a Catwoman story. Now, it's also written by Chip Zdarsky, and I'm not going to go into it because this video is already way too long. But I would not have believed this was Chip Zdarsky writing if I did not see the credit. He writes here like the way he wrote Spectacular Spider-Man. This is Chip Zdarsky going back to witty banter, comedic role. Now, and Catwoman, who, by the way, apparently is Michelle Pfeiffer, Catwoman. This is the Tim Burton verse, I guess, between Penguin now Catwoman. I don't know. And it's just the tee-hee-hee kind of funny quips and lines. It just does not work for me. This was silly and jarring, and it's the same universe. It's the same Catwoman. Why is it a completely different tone? And why is Catwoman running around like she's Batman saving the day? You need to keep Catwoman a thief. She is no hero. She is a selfish person looking out for her own interest that isn't beyond redemption, which is part of what makes her relationship with Bruce very interesting, that maybe Catwoman, maybe she'll never be a hero, but maybe she can actually be reformed and be a decent human being. Yeah. So, of course, little funny lines like here, like her cat is lactose intolerant, because get it? Because cats like milk, but her cat is oh, this is so cute. It's that kind of humor. Listen to this dialogue. Maybe Underbroker was right. Some simple heists, some luxurious living. Nights in watching HBO. What am I trying to prove? Why am I... Oh, God. Like, I don't want to read comics. Why we need to show characters sitting around eating. And so she gets roped in by the Underbroker, blah, 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 because Penguin has got an inheritance in his last will and testament. He's leaving his... Because remember, Penguin died just now. Another unceremonious death of a major Bat villain or Bat character. But they can't track down the people that to get the inheritance, so they're going to hire Selina for $500,000 to go track these people down, which are, surprise, he's got children. The end. That was it. So the first Batman, the actual main story, I would say, I would say 4 stars on a 5-star scale. There was some definite problems that I had with it, but overall, it was very entertaining to read. The highs were very high, and it's what a comic should be. It's definitely above average when it comes to mainstream comics, and if every Batman comic was like that, I could tolerate it. The Catwoman story, barely, no, it's just a waste of space. The fact that I had to pay for that, the 20 pages or approximation or whatever, I don't want that. Just give me actually, without the Catwoman story, charge me $3.99 and I'll be happier. Just give me solid Batman. That's all I want. Speaking of solid Batman, in really bad segues, Artemis Wanted, I saw this, Artemis, cool. I remember her when she was part of the Outlaws. Remember before they screwed that up, because DC never likes having a good thing. Oh, is that good and successful? Do you like that? Oh, we're gonna screw it up. So Didio decided that they were gonna. So now Artemis is back because she's languishing. She could be in this successful Red Hood and the Outlaws, still going. People would probably still be liking it. But now they effed it up and they don't know what to do with her. So they're gonna give her own series. Matteo Scalera is one of the best artists in the business. He's like, when I said there's other top tier, maybe Matteo Scalera. He's one that could have been drawing Batman. He's arguably in the same tier at least. And then I see written by Vita Ayala. This is gonna be garbage, and it's not actually art by Matteo Scalera. Just the cover to tease you. It's Skylar Patridge, which I don't actually know this person's art, but it's a one-shot, and it's going to be garbage. I'm sure. Save your money. And then we get this spotlight. I guess if you prefer the tee-hee-hee story at the end of this more than the actual Batman story, this might appeal to you. But if you're an actual Batman person with testosterone throwing through your veins, this probably looks like hot garbage. So that is it. That is my review of Batman 125. Hope you liked the review. Hope you enjoyed the comic if you paid for it. If you didn't, leave your comments below. Leave your comments about this video, what you liked about it, what you didn't like. Is it too long? Is it too short? As no one's going to say it's too short. This is going to be one of my Ash on Comics videos where I typically It's longer format where I'm talking about lots of things. And I'm going to try to mitigate those with like just shorter reviews where I just get to the point and don't talk your ear off into the weeds. But I hadn't done one of these in a long time, so I kind of felt like, we needed to have a talk. We need to sit and get reacquainted with each other, So thanks for watching so much. I hope to see you in the comments, please. And hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching.